March 2025. The Amhara region of Ethiopia has once again become the epicenter of a brutal and escalating conflict. For nearly 2 years, the Fano militia has been locked in a deadly struggle with the Ethiopian government. But in mid-March 2025, something changed. Fano launched a massive coordinated offensive, targeting military positions, seizing towns, and cutting off critical highways. Was this a desperate last stand, or a calculated move to reshape Ethiopia's future? Today, we dive deep into the Fano offensive, uncovering the truth behind the headlines and what it means for Ethiopia's future. Fano, a legend reborn. Fano isn't just a militia, it's a legend reborn. Their name means freedom fighter, a title earned battling Italian occupiers in the 1930s. Today, they're resurrecting that legacy. But this time, their enemy isn't foreign invaders, it's their own government. Just 3 years ago, Fano fought alongside Ethiopia's army to crush Tigray's TPLF. But the 2022 Pretoria peace deal shattered that alliance. Amhara leaders were excluded from negotiations. The government ordered the disbandment of the Amhara Special Forces, one of the strongest military units in the region, while other regional forces remained intact. Feeling abandoned and vulnerable, Fano refused to disarm. They went into hiding, waiting for the right moment to strike. April 2023, the insurgency begins. The federal government attempts to disarm Amhara's forces. Many refuse and join Fano. Clashes erupt. What starts as local skirmishes escalates into a full-blown insurgency that has now lasted 2 years. Until now, Fano forces have relied on decentralized guerrilla tactics, entering towns, destroying government security infrastructure, and withdrawing, leaving the Amhara region ungovernable. This time, it's different. They've unified under a central command and launched a large-scale offensive across Gondar, Gojam, and Wollo. But why now? Why March 2025? A government distracted. In 2024 and 2025, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed made a fateful gamble, demanding access to the Red Sea, Ethiopia's vital trade lifeline. Eritrea, once an ally, viewed this as a direct threat. By early 2025, tensions spiked along the Ethio-Eritrean border. The Ethiopian military shifted troops north, and with the government distracted, Fano seized its moment. March 19, 2025, Operation Unity begins. At dawn, Fano strikes more than 30 Ethiopian military positions simultaneously, hitting Vergesa, Debre Marcos, and key highways like Gondar, Bahir Dar. Their targets weren't random. These roads connect Amhara's major cities to the Ethiopian capital. By cutting them off, Fano didn't just isolate the government's forces, they trapped them between multiple fronts. The government's response, denial, and deflection. The government tried to downplay Fano's successes, claiming hundreds of Fano fighters killed and saying the offensive is crushed. But on the ground, the reality is different. Villagers describe Ethiopian troops retreating at night. Hospitals are overflowing with casualties. And Fano, they vanish into the mountains, regroup, and strike again. This isn't a conventional war. It's a shadow war, and the shadows are winning. To mask its failures, Ethiopia shifts the blame to Tigray. The government accuses Brigadier General Migbe Haile, a key Tigrayan commander, of masterminding Fano's attacks. But Migbe isn't just any general. He's a towering figure in Tigray's defense forces, the same forces that recently ousted Getachew Reda, Tigray's interim president, and an ally of Abiy Ahmed. So why target Migbe now? Because Abiy Ahmed is playing Ethiopia's oldest game, ethnic division. Divide and rule, a dangerous strategy. Abiy Ahmed belongs to Ethiopia's largest ethnic group, the Oromo. By framing Fano and Tigrayan fighters as northerners plotting against the Oromo, his government paints the Oromo as victims, rallying them behind his rule. At the same time, by blaming a Tigrayan commander, Abiy sends a message to Tigray's leaders. Join us against Fano or we'll label you the enemy too. But independent analysts disagree. Fano's Operation Unity isn't about Tigray, it's about uniting Amhara factions. Their goal? Regional autonomy, the protection of Amhara lands. Migbi Haile is just a convenient scapegoat for a government out of answers. At this moment, the Amhara region is under a total media blackout. No journalists, no aid groups, just whispers of atrocities. Ethiopian forces executing civilians, Fano reprisals, entire villages erased. The UN estimates 10,000 dead since 2023. Most civilians. And the world silent. For the Amhara people, this isn't just a battle for land, it's a fight for survival and dignity. Meanwhile, the federal government is stretched thin militarily and financially. Ethiopia's economy is in free fall. Inflation is soaring at 40%. Foreign reserves are empty. External backers like the UAE can only do so much.
What is Abiy's next move? In 2018, Abiy won the Nobel Peace Prize for making peace with Eritrea. Today, that legacy lies in ruins.
His Red Sea demands have reignited tensions with Eritrea. His army is fighting Fano in Amhara, watching Eritrea in the north, managing unrest in Tigray, and his government isolated. The US cut aid. The EU accuses Abiy of war crimes. Even China, Ethiopia's biggest lender, is silent. Meanwhile, Fano needs no foreign allies. Their weapons, captured Ethiopian rifles. Their supply lines, the support of Amhara farmers. This is guerrilla warfare 101. And the government is failing the test. The future of Ethiopia. Ethiopia stands at a precipice. If the Amhara war drags on, Tigray could rebel again. The Oromo could turn on Abiy and Fano. They'll keep fighting for Amhara, for pride, for survival. This isn't just Ethiopia's crisis, it's a warning. A warning to every nation built on fragile alliances and broken promises. The question isn't whether Ethiopia will survive, it's how it will survive and what it will become. Like, subscribe, and comment.